All right, what's going on, guys? We're back. Huddle Up Podcast, episode 18. Of course, I got Hayden with me as always. Got a little baseball today, a little football. We're getting close to basketball. We had the schedule released yesterday, but it's August, still a little early, so we're just going to hit on these two. Been a minute since we've done baseball, so and we're kind of getting to that point. Playoff baseball is loading, which is going to be sick. So yeah, man. Your Dodgers have been on speaking of the hat, interesting little run the last month. Hasn't been the cleanest, but I mean, obviously it's still the Dodgers. So you feeling good about them?
Uh, yeah, I think people put too much stock into. I don't know if it's just a matter of like. It's weird because like I feel like baseball is the one sport where you can kind of go through a slump and it's not necessarily expected, but it's kind of like I guess expected is the word that I'm trying to use. Like for example, like Freddie Freeman started off really hot this year, and then he kind of went through a slump for a month, like around like June, July, and then he's picked it back up. And so I feel like out of all like the major American sports, as you know, baseball, football, basketball, baseball is the one where teams like slump the most, and they can slump for like a whole month. Like at least in football, the Rams always slump in November for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so the Dodgers definitely have been on a slump. I'm not worried at all. Like the GM Friedman, he specifically said, or president of baseball operations, whatever, he had specifically said like in the off season when they had signed Snell, when they signed Scott, Conforto, that they wanted to make all the moves possible in the off season as opposed to making them at the trade deadline, because not only do you get taxed, but then you're picking from a selection of people versus having like kind of a crop of people to pick from. I'm not worried about it. I know a lot of teams made moves at the trade deadline, specifically the Padres. They got Miller, they got the deal or the package from Baltimore, and then they got
Yeah, they got O'Hearn, right?
yeah, O'Hearn and Laureano, and then they got Freddie Fermin from the Royals. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. I still think that they have the best roster in baseball, and especially with the fact that Snell came back recently, they got Trenton back. I think Kopech comes back at some point. I know Tanner Scott's going to come back, and then Sasaki. Like those are just like the arms that they have coming back. Not to mention, like Mookie seems to be kind of breaking out of his slump. Otani's pitching now. Glass now looks solid. Like they have I still think they have the most talented roster in all of baseball. Maybe outside of, I think the Padres have a pretty good roster too. But I don't know. I'm not too worried about them in the grand scheme of things. I think realistically the only teams that'll light a candle or hold a candle to the Dodgers are the Mets and the Padres. I think those are the only two teams. I think those are the three teams that are going to win the World Series. I think it's one of those three teams. I don't think the only team out of the AL that like has a remote chance of winning the World Series this year is your Astros.
Interesting. You don't think the Tigers at all?
The Tigers are on a slump, dude. And I just watched. I know you said you watched the game yesterday. Today's the 9th. We're recording this, so it's a Saturday currently. We both saw Skubal get shelled, for lack of a better term. I mean, granted, he only gave up 4 runs, but it was also 4 2/3 innings, which was his shortest outing of the year. So the Angels kind of brushed him out of the game. They have no depth whatsoever. The Tigers specifically. Riley Green is going to break the strikeout record this year. And then on top of that, like they just don't have a very good 1 through 9 outside of Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter. Like they have a lot of guys who are, I think, overperforming. Zach McKinstry's having a good year. Torkelson is having a career resurgence.
I like Torkelson.
He's good, but this is just the first year that he's really had serious production, and I'm not going to buy into it only because, like we saw last year when the Tigers played the Astros, and this isn't a great example, but like Skubal got them that win in Game 1, and then after that, it's kind of like a dogfight for them because they're number 2. Like I think Jack Flaherty's kind of fallen off a cliff, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's been as good
I think he's
recently.
played better the last couple
Couple,
weeks,
because I
but
know he was,
he was bad for a while.
yeah, and like
His first innings were just brutal.
that's like their number two outside of Casey. I think his name is Casey Mize. Is
My
how you pronounce it.
yeah,
I'm not too concerned about them. I think in the AL, you have the Astros, I think, are the clear cut number one, and then there's like a second tier of teams, and that would kind of be like the Tigers. As much as I hate to say the Yankees, even though I don't think the Yankees will make it far this year, and then like the Mariners, I still think that the
the
Rangers
Mariners are interesting. I
I,
think.
I, the Mariners. I only have them up there out of respect, just because they're doing well, but I fully expect them to shit the bed. That's just the Mariners in
Yeah.
a nutshell. Eugenio Suarez is hitting like under 100 since coming from the Diamondbacks to the Mariners, and then I think Naylor got hurt recently. I'm not sold on the team. J Rod is so overrated. You could argue that their best player outside of Cal Raleigh, at least in their batting lineup, is Randy Arozarena, and I'm a big
Crawford
Randy.
got the other too. I think
Who?
Crawford,
Fuck
their
no.
leadoff. You don't like him at all.
I think I think that he is extremely overrated. I'm not a big fan of JP Crawford. I think he's just like, he's a good role player, like he does his job, but I don't think he's anything special. Like he's just very average to me. And like Cal Raleigh's kind of fallen off a cliff in a sense from where he was. I mean, he still, I think, leads the league in home runs, but I'm not too worried about the Mariners. I think the Rangers pose the biggest threat to the Astros only because they beat them before, and then on top
Yeah.
of that, they have probably the best pitching rotation in the AL out of all the playoff kind of caliber teams. Like they can shuttle out Eovaldi, who has a 1.5 ERA. DeGrom looks like damn near prime DeGrom.
Yeah.
They get Trevor, I think his name's Male or Maul, back at some point this year, and I know I'm missing another starter that they have. I know they have Corbin, but I feel like they have a third starter that I'm just totally blanking on. I know they have Leiter and
I can
Leiter and Rocker have been kind of shoring up the back end of their rotation, and then as a Dodger fan, you can't count out a Corey Seager-led lineup, especially when they have Simeon, Adolis Garcia, Langford. I think Carter's hurt. Like they have
Jack Leiter is who you're thinking of, I think, right?
yeah, Leiter and Rocker are solid. I know Leiter's had a better year than Rocker. They have a solid rotation. They have, like, I'd say a decent bullpen. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a top 5 bullpen or anything that's too intimidating, but those are the two teams I think out of the AL that'll make it. Is either Houston or Texas.
Really
yeah,
quick, I want to go back to what you were saying earlier, and then I'll kind of catch up where you ended. But I think, yeah, baseball, because you have 162 games, and the way baseball is as a sport, because good batters are hitting, 30% of the time, like, because of just the numbers behind that. Like, it's not like quarterbacks are completing pretty much guaranteed at least 50% for the most part, and yeah, you all have turnovers and whatever, but it's way more expected with the game volume and just the nature of the sport. Like slumps are due for like every team, So I definitely agree with that. I don't think there should be concern about the Dodgers either, but I do think this last month or so has definitely left some room to be like, well, let's just see how it looks, when we hit September, October. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be, now at least, surprised to see a close series or two. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I still think the Dodgers are the clear favorite. But there's been some room for, like, let's see what happens. Because of the last month. That's kind of where I am with them. Roster-wise, experience, winning it last year, like they're still the front runners, and I don't think it's that close. But they're also, I think if there was a team close to their caliber, I would be curious to see where like odds makers had them at, if they would still be the favorite or not, because it just feels like the Dodgers are a little bit head and shoulders above everyone else. I kind of agree with you there. But yeah, I mean, I think Dodgers, Astros are up there. I do worry still about pitching. Framber, we
Shit the
didn't
bed
talk about.
today.
Oh my gosh, it's the Framber ride is very bumpy. A lot of smooth sailing and a lot of bad starts. But I mean, the thing with the Astros, it's kind of like that like Chiefs esque, Patriots esque kind of deal, which is truly, I say this being real, but not being arrogant either. They did go to 7 straight ALCSs, obviously broke that last year, but you kind of just expect them to be there. So that's why I put them in that Chiefs Patriots they're just kind of going to be there.
Yeah.
It's fair to assume that, and they also just have guys coming back. Like Jordan should be in the lineup again in the next month. Pena just came back and has been really good. They just got Sanchez from the Marlins, which has been a solid pickup. And then the same guys, right? Altuve's been good as always. Seawalk has kind of found his rhythm a little bit, which is good to see. Yiner's been a little bit underwhelming, but still solid. But you just expect those guys to kind of hit playoff mode once we get there. So I definitely I'm with you on the Astros piece. I'm maybe a little more higher on the Tigers than you are, but I definitely understand what you're saying. It's more just when you have a starter that good, it takes you very far in the playoffs. At least it tends to, unless the Pirates without any run support. But that's a whole nother deal. I'm trying to think.
I don't think that there's like, I know the big talk of things like in the MLB is there's going to be like a lockout. I think after next season, because the Players Association's contract is up after the 26th season, and so they're going to talk about renegotiating like a cap. What is it? Like not a threshold. What's the like a hard cap or whatever for like how much teams can spend. I just think the talk like that type of stuff is just so fucking stupid because sorry, didn't mean to rip out that whole one. I think it's extremely dumb only because why punish the teams that are trying to spend money and improve the sport like the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets. I get that they're at an unfair advantage, but at the same time, with the way that the money distribution works for like TV deals and like the money the teams are making, like the more money you put in, the more money you get out of it. And so it's just befuddling to me that a team like the Pirates, who had an extreme turnout for the Mac Miller bobblehead night, like they have fans there. Like the last time Pittsburgh was in the playoffs, like the stadium was packed. Like these smaller market teams are being done such a disservice by their ownership. Like the Angels, for example, like they're in a prime market. They play in Orange County. They steal the Los Angeles name. And as an Angels fan, it's like I want them to be known as the Anaheim Angels, but that's like a whole nother ball game. It's just frustrating to see that these owners put together teams that are just not like competitive whatsoever. Like they're fielding AAA guys, like just guys that have been around the league. Like they're just putting a ragtag team of people together around like a superstar. Like the Pirates are doing what the Angels have done with Mike Trout for the last 10 years, where they just put a bunch of bums around him, and you go to watch one specific player, and at that point you're only really going once every 5 days, right? Because the pitcher's not a batter. It's a whole thing. I think it's extremely dumb, and I think that the fans that are complaining about it, it's like, well, don't get mad at the teams who have owners that actually like give a shit. You should be mad at your owner. Like as an Angels fan, Joe Adell just hit a 3-run home run.
I was gonna say that I'm following it.
Yeah,
I bet on the Angels today, but
W bet. Charlie Morton in the mud.
He has 8 Ks right now, but
That's the Angel special. He'll have 20 by the end of the game.
Here's my one question on all that, and this is a true question. Like I have NBA and NFL cap and all of that down to a science. Now with the MLB, they don't have a minimum spend, right?
There's no floor. That's
Yeah, that's what they need. They need a floor. Do I love the unlimited spending essentially piece? Like I don't, but I do think that like they should implement a floor before like taking out the spending,
yeah.
or making a hard cap, make a floor and then see how it goes.
I agree. And it's like the one thing that I will say that I do tend to agree on when people talk about it online is that I'm not a huge fan of the deferrals just because, like for the Dodgers specifically, right? They have the deferrals going on with Ohtani where they're paying him $2 million a year and then they're going to pay him $68 million for 10 years afterwards. Like, I get why he did it. He wants to have a competitive team around him because the Angels never once put a competitive team around him, and it's it is what it is. I just think that the deferrals, it's not so much the amount of money that they're giving to these players, it's the deferrals I think that are a little bit more unfair because like I'm not going to go to the Diamondbacks and like let's say Corbin Burns signed with the Diamondbacks for like I don't know what the deal was. He got like 200-ish million, like 180, 200-ish million, I think. And it's like nobody's going to the Diamondbacks and is like, yeah, let me defer my whole contract, right? Or like no one's going to like the Miami Marlins and is like, oh, let me defer my contract. Like it's only teams, and it's realistically, I mean, the Dodgers are the biggest proponent of it, but there's other teams that have deferred money, and it's like the Dodgers deferred caps, like how much money they're deferring onto later years, like with Mookie, with Tommy Edman, with Shohei, obviously, like all these different deals that like even Conforto they did deferrals to, Tanner Scott. It's like all these deferrals are going to bite them down the road because then they're not going to have as much money in the next decade to spend, in a sense, especially if there is like an instituted cap, because then I believe that I mean, depending on I guess how they would put in the cap if there were to be one, I'm not sure how that would work because Ohtani's due $68 million from he signed in 23, so from 33 to 43 he's guaranteed $68 million per year. So like in those years for the Dodgers, are they going to be handicapped and have $68 million less, without the obviously the information when they signed him that would be like an instituted thing. So it's got like a bunch of different variables to it. I'm just not a fan of the deferrals only because I think it can bite a team down the road, like especially the Pirates. For example, like let's say this offseason, for whatever reason they go out and they sign Fromber. That's just the first free agent that comes to mind, and they give him 5 years, 100 and call it 80 million, right? So they give him 30 million per year, but instead they're going to defer it, and they're only going to pay him 5 million per year, and they're going to give him 5 million for the first 5 years, and then another 5 years with 25 million on each year. And it's like those 5 years that they're going to be paying the 25 million, they're essentially like out of contention because Frommer's not going to be playing those years. And then on top of that, like who's going to want to go to Pittsburgh? Like it's a whole thing, and it's not realistic for some of these teams to do. And that's the part I think that's frustrating to fans, and I can get behind that. But the whole like having a floor I think is extremely necessary, but I think having a limit on it is kind of dumb because it's like you're just limiting. Like, I mean, you can essentially buy whatever player you want, and I know that it probably seems extremely rich coming from a Dodgers fan and like a LA sports fan. Like, you can just buy whoever, like whatever player you want, but like you really can. Like, if you throw a player enough money, they will come to you point blank. Period. Unless there's
we were talking about Micah to the Rams the other day. I mean, they would for sure just defer the money.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's void years, and like I know the NFL situation, it's similar in that way because I don't know if it's also void years per se. I don't know how it's worded, but the NFL is in this void year merchant like
Eagles.
age of contracts. Yeah, the Eagles. But like the thing is with the way pro sports, like sports are exploding, and they have been the past couple of years, and now baseball is finally coming back. I mean, a big part of that is Otani, but ratings are up for baseball. People are way more involved than they were even a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't know how you fix the deferral situation because teams are just going to keep doing it in all sports. I don't think we've seen it a ton in the NBA yet. I could be wrong on that, but like I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure of it. Because yeah, I mean the NFL, everything's deferred now. Like every single contract you see from a quarterback, from whoever, like it's going to be deferred. Like Micah's contract, it's all going to be deferred, and it's a benefit because you're assuming the cap's just going to continue to grow. I mean, the NFL cap increases by an insane amount every single year. So you're like, all right, whatever. I bet in 2035 the cap's going to be, 500 mil or whatever. Like, you don't care right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So I don't know. I for base like I think all contracts are just going this deferred route, and I think at some point they're going to have to figure out a way to at least limit it, because at this point you literally can buy anybody with the way money's moving. Like the Eagles could theoretically get Micah and then just defer it until like 2050. Like whatever. Yeah, I don't know how they'll fix that, but it's definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah, but I guess to conclude the baseball thing, I think the original point that I was trying to make was that people talk about parity between different leagues and like how, like the Dodgers are always in it, or like the Yankees or whatever, and it's like we just had Arizona play Texas 2 years ago, and then obviously last year was LA versus New York, and it's like I don't think that fans, and I think fans who watch baseball and have watched baseball for a longer time understand that there is a lot of parity between teams, and the fact that there are like insanity runs, for lack of a better term. Like Arizona shouldn't have been in the World Series when they were,
Yeah.
and they smashed everybody in their way to get there. Like they killed the Dodgers, beat the Phillies, and I forget who else they had beaten. But it's just like, I do think that there is parity in baseball, and so I don't know if changing the cap is going to do anything to like limit that or affect it. But I just see a lot of people arguing online that it's going to, baseball is now ruined because, of all the deferrals and whatnot. And it's like, I mean, I don't know how something's ruined when it's the most popular it's ever been. It's just like a lot of like foolish takes on, you see them on Twitter and whatnot. And it's just like, I get that like you and I, like, we don't play sports professionally, and like, it's not like we have like extreme backgrounds playing sports, but it just seems like a lot of people just get on like whatever platform they have and just start like just saying shit, and they don't like like just like uninformed, and it's just like it's embarrassing to see some people's opinions on sports, because it's like either apparent that they haven't watched for a while, or that they just don't have the understanding that's necessary to like, I guess, get a grasp on what it is they're talking about. But that's like a whole nother thing. It's just silly to me that people say that there's no parity in baseball. It's like Dodgers haven't missed the playoffs since like 2013 or 2014, but like they've only made the World Series 4 times in that time, and they've only won 2 of them.
I mean, you had the Nationals. You had the Nationals in the World Series a couple of years ago. What are a couple other weird ones?
I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I know Philadelphia is a bigger market, but like the Phillies kind of came out of nowhere that one year. Like the Braves won it in 21.
Braves. Yep.
Like Tampa Bay made it in the COVID year, right? It's just like there is parity amongst the teams, and I think people think otherwise because the Astros were so successful from 17 to still. Like they just have been like the Chiefs of the the MLB, like you're saying. Like they're consistent. They're gonna be in contention every year. Like, and I think that skewed people's opinions. But it's like in the NFL, like you had the Patriots running the league, from like the early 2000s they dominated it, and then from like the late 2000s to like 2018, 19. So for like 15 years of the league, they were running shit. And then like back in the 80s and the 90s, it's the Cowboys, it's the Steelers, it's the Niners. Like it's all, there's not as much parity. Like realistically, the most parity-filled season there has been in the last 5-ish years was Rams-Bengals. And even then, it's like the Rams are in contention most years since McVay's came. Like they were in the Super Bowl 3 years prior. They're always competing in the playoffs. And so it's like that, if the most parity-filled season still has a team that's relatively consistent year to year, like it's basically the Bengals carrying the weight in the parity conversation, because outside of that year, like they haven't really gone super far in any other playoff run.
And for the record, listen, the Bengals they're not a big market team, but listen, they had the number one overall pick and hit on that pick. Like, if you have a number one overall pick and you hit on it, like, now that's a little different in baseball because there's so many rounds, and like the way prospects work, normally, obviously you have like schemes and a couple exceptions, but like normally baseball guys aren't playing for a while, Aaron Judge, from what I understand, was like a late pick, but like still, like, he was hyped up as heck, and then it took him 5 years to get into the majors. So like,
he debuted pretty late.
Yeah, but I think what was I going to say? Yeah, what people miss, by the way, is like, let me tell you, the Angels owner, for example, was probably sick that the Dodgers made it. But you know what? Like, they all get more money in their pocket when the World Series is Yankees-Dodgers. Like, that's how it goes. I think people forget that like when you get the big market, like finals or the big market, like you want to see this. You want to see the NBA, the Pacers, Thunder. Like, it's a fun series for the people that watch the sport, but like, what's going to drive ratings for like our dads to watch it, or like whoever, is like the big names. Like, my dad's probably not as locked into the World Series if it's
Detroit and Atlanta or some shit.
Yeah, like my dad's not watching that, but he's watching every pitch of Yankees Dodgers for sure, because it's like the big names, the big team. That's what you want. You want to see Ohtani and the Stars like at that spot, and like everyone's getting. It's a win for everyone. Everyone's getting more money in their pocket. So
yeah, I don't know. People complain way too much now, and I know that it's funny because I'm complaining about people complaining, but it's so dumb to me. Like, I see people online, and they like for example, as a Rams fan, like I see like those Niners teams that weren't successful and never won a Super Bowl within the last 5 years. Like, I can respect the hell out of them because like they had a lot of good players throughout the years, and like they had a lot of guys that were contributing. And like, I only hate them, right, because they play for the rival team. And it's kind of a similar thing with like the Ohtani thing now, and people are like, oh, like MLB needs to stop the Ohtani glaze, and it's like all this stuff, and it's like, you guys will like we're all gonna die, and then our children are gonna live, and then they're gonna die, and then their children are gonna live, and they're gonna die. And the odds of them seeing, like, in this whole time span of them seeing another player like Ohtani is probably closer to 0 than it is 100. And it's just like, I don't understand why people can't take, like, people are taking for granted, like, probably the greatest athlete of our generation, just pound for pound, the ability to do two things at such a high level and arguably the hardest sport in the world. Like, I think the hardest thing to do in sports is hitting a baseball.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's just like universally like regarded as being the hardest thing, like on a daily basis, or like on a regular, like shooting a jump shot isn't the same, throwing a ball isn't the same. Like, and the fact that he's doing this at such a high level, and I'm sure that I'm like an Ohtani Glazer right now. It's crazy to me that people will see something so historical and just be like, like, screw this, like, I don't want to watch it. And it's like, in 10 to 15 years when he's retired, and you're raising your kids, and they ask you like, oh, how is it watching Otani, and you're gonna
Yeah.
respond to them like, oh, I never watched him, like I hated him because the MLB social media was posting him too much. Like, is that what you're gonna tell your children, or is it gonna be like, oh yeah, like watching him was crazy, like he's the greatest baseball player of all time. Like it just, I don't know. It's just so like absurd to me that people can't just appreciate greatness in sports, especially
Yeah, I
for
mean,
something so whimsical. It's a children's sport, for Christ's sake. Like why are we
yeah,
like willing to die over Otani Glaze? Like I just I don't get it.
yeah. I mean, they like again. It's great for baseball to have Otani in a big market. Like those players, Patrick Mahomes showed up in Kansas City in a small market, and they've
He blew it
become.
up.
He blew it up, right? And sometimes that happens, and sometimes you got to be in. Well, Dallas is in a small market, but relatively for basketball, it kind of is. Sometimes you got to get that star player to a bigger market, like not
Yeah,
to be the Colin Coward of huddle up right now, but like it's true. You want the star, like it helps everyone. I
yeah,
think that's what like the reason everyone's salary cap is going to go up in baseball this offseason is because the Dodgers won the World Series. It was Yankees Dodgers in the World Series, and the most appealing player in baseball to watch is in a big market. So like national TV's up, and like it's just the facts of it. Before we move on from baseball, let's go over the playoff picture a little bit. I know we kind of hinted at it a little bit, just briefly, but I mean, me looking at it real quick, like obviously the Dodgers. What do you think about the Red Sox? That's kind of an interesting one. They've kind of showed up out of nowhere. Do you think they have a shot? Do you think they can make it interesting?
I have more faith in them than the Tigers in a sense that I like their 1 through 9 more, and I think that they have guys who can just hit the ball and hit the ball well. You got uh, start off Roman Anthony, who looks to be like he's the real deal.
Yeah,
You got Rafaela. I think Marcelo Myers hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
you're
They
right.
have a lot of young talent. I mean, they got Bregman, they got Trevor Story holding it down on the left side. Willie Abreu's playing. Ref Snyder's pretty good, and God, what's the dude's Romy Gonzalez. Like they have a
Yeah,
really good lineup, and if you were to compare like taking the Tigers and the Red Sox, like they both have an ace level starter. If you were to just negate Crochet and Skubal and go from there on with like the 2 through 5, like Giolito, Bueller, May, and maybe I couldn't tell you who the fifth starter, Richard Fitz. I think he's out for the year, so never mind. But like, if you were to take the 2 through 5 for both teams and compare them, I think that the Red Sox on paper have a better 1 through 5 as well as a 1 through 9. I think the Red Sox are a sleeper team to make it through the AL. I just don't see them. I don't see any team this year beating the Astros. Um, Maybe like the Rangers, but again, I think that a lot of things have to go their way in order for that to happen.
I don't even know if the Rangers are in the playoffs as it stands now. Now they can obviously.
I think they're like the last wild card
They're
team.
the eight. They're the eight right now.
So what is it? Three and then
Um,
it's three. So they're
they're
couple games
they're
out.
two spots back. They're 2 games back of the wild card.
Who are the three wild card teams? The Yankees,
Yankees, Mariners,
Mariners.
Red Sox in reverse order. But so Red Sox are the four, Mariners the five, Yankees the six.
Wow. The one team that has surprised me out of the AL is the Blue Jays. Shout
Yeah,
out Jackson. I don't know how they're this good because I honestly don't think their lineup is very impressive in any field. Like
it's interesting.
Bichette,
I would make the argument the other way. I would say their pitching is like because well, I mean you're kind of right. Offensively, their averages aren't great.
I,
They're maybe it's a better big name lineup because they have a lot of big names in there. Like Bichette, obviously Vladdy's in there.
yeah,
Alexander
Springer.
Hurst solid. Springer's been hurt, but he's in there.
Like
But
they
yeah,
have a solid
he's
team.
19th in the league right now, so that's not very good. But
I
they're
don't know how they're as good as they are record wise currently. Only because I never
oh,
had them on my radar for
sorry. I was looking at the Orioles last year, and so I had my thing on 2024. Now this
uh
makes me. They're hitting first.
I just
I
it,
mean,
it just
I was gonna say, I think their lineup should have been their like from what I've seen, their lineup's been good, but their pitching is like kind of mid. Yeah, they're hitting is first. They're hitting 270, and OPS is third. So
I just I don't buy into them still. I don't know what it is. I just don't think that they have the juice to beat a team like I wouldn't even take them in a series over the Phillies, and maybe I'm just like totally tripping, but I don't see the Phillies as a serious threat this year. I think Harper's falling off a cliff, and if Schwarber's their best batter, then they're kind of fucked. They
yeah,
do have a great rotation. I'll give them that. I just don't think that they have enough offensive production for how much money they have invested in Harper and Turner and all these different guys. But I'm just not a big believer in the Blue Jays. I honestly
yeah,
think that they have a solid rotation. The part that I'm not sold on is their lineup. Like I'm not a huge Bo Bichette guy. I don't think Vladdy's had a crazy like Vladdy's production ever since the 1 year that they played at the other stadium has been pretty down overall, which is kind of odd to me. And
yeah.
so I'm not sure what's the underlying issue there. Springer was hot before the All Star break, and then I know you said he got hurt.
Yep.
But like they have Clement and Barger playing. I know Davis Schneider has been getting some run recently, and
Yeah,
Jimenez has
Babe
been
Snyder,
hurt.
man, he's back.
It's just like such an odd lineup, and I think it's a better lineup. Like I keep bringing up the Tigers. Like I think it's a better lineup than the Tigers have. Even then, I still don't know if I would put them over the Tigers, only because I just trust the Tigers more. Just personally,
Yeah.
I think Scooball wins any pitching matchup outside of Skeens. Um, I don't know. I'm not sold on the Blue Jays. I think the AL very well could have like a Texas Rangers 2023 type of winner where it's somebody just out of the blue. Maybe this is the Mariners' year to get to the ALCS. I have a hard time believing in anybody but the Astros. I
Yeah.
think the Yankees. I think are. I've been saying it for a while now. The Yankees are so overrated. I don't know how they're holding on to a wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they have Judge out, like
Oh, it's like
he hasn't even been batting great lately, but I
the
mean,
AAA lineup.
it's pretty bad.
And
um,
I feel bad for them too, because like it's obvious that they lost Soto and then they spent some money to kind of refill the holes that he left. But like I just they like Max Fried is your one, cool. And I know that they were supposed to have Garrett Cole this year, and they'd probably be, winning their division right now if they had Cole, and be a lot scarier of a team because Garrett
yeah,
Cole was putting the Dodgers in a fucking blender in the two World Series games outside of the one, top of the fifth. Like
yeah,
he put him in the blender game one, and he put him in the blender from innings 1 through 4 in game five. Like I'm genuinely scared of Garrett Cole when he pitches against the Dodgers because he just puts them in a fucking like a chamber, a torture chamber.
yeah.
But I'm not sold on. We don't even have to screw that. Screw talking about the AL, bro. It's the Astros. Like not even trying to like jinx them. There's no other team to believe in.
No, I mean, let's take a look at the NL. I mean, I just think it's less. I just think the Dodgers are so much better than everyone up there. I think the Brewers. Now it's a little bit of like recency bias because they've been insanely hot, but like that's a pretty good hitting lineup. Let me see where their stats are. Yeah, I mean they're hitting third. Defense is better than I thought. Actually, really good. I mean they're interesting.
They have a good rotation and they have a solid 1 through 9. I don't know. I'm not sold on them either. I don't know. and I know you said we kind of agree that the Dodgers are above talent wise, but like realistically, I think the Mets and the Padres are right there with them, only because I think that they have the talent to match. Maybe the Mets don't have as much, at least in their starting rotation, only because they're pretty thin there. But like Soto, Lindor, Nimmo, and Alonso, like that's a good one through. Like that's an excellent 1 through 4, and that if you take the top 4 hitters out of the 3 teams I listed, like Otani, I mean, this year it's been Otani, Freeman, Will Smith, and Teoscar's essentially been their number 4 hitter, and then like the Padres, like Machado, Tatis, Merrill, and I mean, you could put Sheets in there.
Tatis kind of vanished a little bit
Yeah,
recently.
I'm not shocked though. Color me surprised.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I
I
mean,
think that
I don't trust the Mets. You're higher on the Mets than I am. I don't trust them whatsoever. I don't. I mean, I have respect for that top 4 a little bit, but I don't know how much I really trust Soto.
what?
I just think he's slightly overrated. It's one of those guys. He's up there. He's obviously up there, but I mean he's fallen apart and they've fallen like the Mets as a team plus Soto have been not as great in the postseason. So
You gotta rework this Soto one. I agree with the Mets choking and whatnot, but Soto in the playoffs is like a different breed, bro. I I clinch my butt every time Soto was up to bat against the Dodgers last year. That was the only hitter I was worried about. Because if you get on base for Soto, he's moving you, whether it's like a pop fly or whether it's a walk or whether it's a hit, home run, whatever the case is. Like he's moving you up the base path.
that's true. He gets a lot of walks. His average is just he just. I mean, he's a good hitter. Average does not necessarily correlate to being a good hitter because he's more of a power hitter, I would say.
But he gets on. Okay, bro. In 43 career games in the playoffs, he has an average of 281 with 45 hits, 11 homers, and 30 ribbies. So he homers about once every 4 games. He has an RBI. What is that? He has 2 for every 3 games, and then he averages about a hit a game. Dude, Soto's legit in the playoffs. He like genuinely scares me.
Fair. I might have been sleeping. That's fair.
But I do agree with the Mets thing only because
the
their
Mets thing
pitching,
has to be valid because
their
I've
pitching
seen
is shit. Their pitching is like abysmal. But I mean, when they played the Dodgers last year, I wasn't too concerned, only because they kind of fizzled out. But like they had like, I mean, I think that it was game 1 or game 2 where they just lit the Dodgers up and they scored like 10. And granted, they were going up against Landon Knack, so like they're not going to be facing Landon Knack this postseason. They're not going to get free eats off of him. But like, they have the ability to just like flip the game on its head. Like, Alonso's having a really solid year, even though he's kind of been struggling recently. And I know the team as a whole has been pretty bad the last month. Like, I think the 4 worst teams the last month of baseball have been both the New York teams and then the Rockies and Nationals. So it's like if you're in company with the Rockies and Nationals, you're obviously doing something extremely wrong. But I'm like a pretty firm believer that I think that they're like the Phillies in the sense that they have an extremely loaded 1 through 9, and like the Phillies have an extremely loaded starting pitching staff. But then once you get through like the 1 through 9 for the Phillies and the pitching staff for the Mets, they're kind of like mid, like not necessarily the greatest. I honestly think that the Padres have a good shot this year. I mean, Bogarts has been playing well recently. Like they have like a legitimate team. I mean, they have arguably the best 1 through 9 with just how consistent it is, because it's like Arise, Tatis, Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, then Fermin, O'Hearn / Sheets, Laureano, and then Cronenworth. Like they have a really good 1 through 9, and then they have Michael King, Darvish coming back, and then Cease, who's pretty buns.
Yeah.
Like they got Mason Miller, they have Robert Suarez, they have Jason Adam. Like they have. I think the Padres. If it's not the Dodgers coming out of the NL, it's the Padres.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think that's crazy. I always like the pod for the same reasons you said. I mean, I think they're on paper their lineup is just scary. Like you're not seeing the results necessarily this year, even though their record, is solid.
Yeah.
Uh, like it's not as good as it's been, but again, we've talked about this. Like baseball is just weird. Like you trust for the most part that like those guys are going to show up when we hit like September, October. I mean, there's just so
Yeah.
many games that you know for sure that like half the time they're just not super, clued in. Like now you should start to, mid-August we should start to, like the Dodgers should probably start to, be winning more consistently. All these other teams as well, Astros, Padres, like you would think. But
Gonna get hot.
let's get some football and then wrap it up. We've got a couple solid topics. Ward 2-run homer. That's good for fantasy.
Oh wait, what? I saw Corm has 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I saw that. Um, Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I didn't. I didn't. I'm watching the quorum. I'm trying to find it on Twitter right now.
Oh, I got you.
It's just. Uh,
So for football, I mean, let's talk about the obvious. Where I was in a little bit of pain last night. Shador balled out in his first start preseason. Here's what I want to say because I could have easily said like, "Oh, it's preseason," because that's what I said about Genti's start. But it was very different outlooks. Like, if you look at the 3 carries Genti had for -1 yards, like he had nowhere to go on all of those carries. Um, a little bit of welcome to the NFL moment, sure, but I am not worried about Genti whatsoever. But we can get into that later if we want. I bring that up with Shador because yesterday he went in with no starters. I believe the Panthers were playing some first team guys, at least in the first couple drives. And again, you have no starters, and you're the Browns, and you're going up against starters. Like any NFL team that has that gap, you're at a disadvantage. And Shador's been a guy where, and this is my hesitancy with him, and like I didn't text you to kind of explain this because I knew we'd talk about it, but he's been in situations that have benefited him since Jackson State, which is a concern. That was my biggest concern. It was not the arm, it was not the movement. Like he's got all that up there with any prospect we had this year, but when you're set up for success, and it's like your numbers might be a little bit inflated. You had a really good wide receiver room at CU. We just had Webster take back that kick in Baltimore. You have what's his name on the Panthers now, who's been balling in camp, and then obviously Travis Hunter. Like they had a really good receiver core, and he had none of that yesterday. And he balled out. The completion percentage wasn't great, but you scored 2 touchdowns. You passed for like 140. That's solid. That's that. I think it's really interesting because it gives a little bit of quarterback debate in that room. I mean, he was listed as the 4th guy, and there's been some injuries obviously to pave a lane for him, but I would not be shocked to see him starting by week 8-ish. I think is my take. Like I think Flacco is going to be the week 1 starter. I don't. That's kind of how I felt the whole time. I didn't think it was going to be Pickett. I definitely did not think it'd be Dylan Gabriel. But I think Shador's put himself in position to be the number 2 if Flacco goes down. I mean, I think they're going to try and trade Pickett. and I think they like Gabriel as like a quarterback room guy, which is kind of my argument with him. Like I think his spot's pretty secure. But I think they'll trade Pickett, and I think Shador is going to be listed at QB2. And when Flacco goes out because he's 40, I think, I think the job is his. So it'll be. I wonder what the rest of the preseason looks like for him. But I watched the highlights last night. He looked good. It was solid.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I get the whole rookie thing, like putting like RJ Harvey for the Broncos is like running back 5 for the Broncos, even though he's already their best fucking running back. That's just how abysmal the running back room is there.
Yeah.
I like cannot stand when teams do this. Like the Rams did it with Terrence Ferguson, which that's a whole nother can of worms with me, because Will Johnson looked extremely good guarding Marvin Harrison. I'm not going to go into a whole tangent right now. Like anyone with 2 eyes and a working fucking brain should know that Shadur Sanders is a better player at this very point than Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. Like if you just watch like 5 minutes of fucking clips, like and that's the part that gets me so frustrated, bro, is because like people act like it's not like people. I mean, there's like a whole like debate to it, and it's just like he's a solid quarterback. There's no reason for him to have slipped to the 5th unless he was literally cussing out GMs and coaches during the interviews. And it's just like, like, I genuinely don't think we'll ever find out why. Like, if he's doing this the whole interview, whatever, like, I get it. Fuck it, he can go to round 5. But, like, we had Tyler Shuck go in the 2nd round to a team where he's probably going to be starting. Like, he's the starter.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I like Cam Ward. When we hit draft time, I like Cam Ward more.
Yeah, and that's extremely reasonable.
Dart, I don't like Dart more than Shador, but
I can understand it.
Yeah, I can understand it for sure. I think the problem with the Shador thing is it's almost like when, like my best comp, which is you have to take it, with a grain of salt, I guess, but when like Cam Newton arrived to New England, it was like, okay, this guy, because he's such a big name and like Shador's not an MVP winner, but like he has the clout, the aura behind him, however you want to put it, right? Like Cam Newton is not your backup, right? Tim Tebow is not your backup. Like you're either bringing him in to like play or they aren't sticking around, at least for the long term. Now it's different with Shador because he's a rookie, but that's the argument. Like you don't want, because now the Browns are in a great spot, but it could get really ugly if they play Flacco and then he doesn't look good, and then Browns fans are like, oh my gosh, like we need Shador, and then there's like locker room issues, PR is bad, and then you're like, we're just trying to make the best decision for our football team. It's just hard to pick a guy like that and deal with all of that chaos. Like NFL teams don't want to do that, and that's why he slipped, because he's not a worse quarterback.
I think this is where you and I disagree, because it's like this whole like hoopla around him. Like I get that he's like extra or whatever, but it's like, okay, then why did Travis Hunter go too? Like, shouldn't he have slipped because of like him and his girl, like all this like social media shit about him and his girlfriend? And it's like
yeah,
they're but like, okay, the same thing with Genty, right? Like, oh, Genty should have won the Heisman. Like, I get it's not the same kind of controversy, but it's like if the teams didn't want like these big like storylines associated with them, right? Then like Mike Green wouldn't have gotten drafted this year, right? And he beat the living shit out of 2 women or whatever. Like he shouldn't even be in the league. And like no one's talking about it. But like here we are arguing about whether Shador like has like hella clout or whatever. And it's so stupid to me that like if that is the reason why the Shador wasn't taken any higher than the 5th round, like if you're an NFL team, you have to think to yourself, like, are you really going to put yourself at a disadvantage over the fact that like this is Deion's son? Like if that's like genuinely what's like holding a team back from taking him, like like do you want your like let's say Dylan Gabriel didn't get drafted by the Browns and Dylan Gabriel went to like I don't know, like the Colts or something, right?
Sure.
And he's on the Colts, and like and then Shadeur still like if swap the Browns taking him, insert the Colts in that same scenario, like everyone would be like, I just feel like it. Hold on, I'm trying to recuperate the point I'm trying to make. I got hot there for a second. Like it's just so dumb to me that teams passed on a first round talent because of like hoopla around him. Like teams time and time again take controversial guys. Like coming like I know Judkins, the whole thing happened with him after he got drafted. But like had that happened before he got drafted, I still don't think that he would have slid as much as Shadeur did. And it's not like Shadeur's like that's just the thing. It's like I just don't think it's that serious. Like if Shadeur went to like a well-ran organization like the Rams, like the PR shit like wouldn't matter. Like McVay's just gonna say, this.
I agree with that. I think. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I was just gonna say I think teams that are QB needy, either in the short term or the long term, like you have no excuse. Like as a
like
Texans
the Saints, bro.
Yeah. Listen, I agree with that. I think the Saints should have taken him at whatever they were, pick 25 or like
it was like
you
40
Shadeur over the 25 like.
20
I know
30-year-old.
I'm a Bo Nix guy. We could, we feel differently about that, but a very different situation between Bo Nix and Tyler, right? Yeah, Shadeur should have gone there. I think completely. Like I think that's a no doubter. Like I wouldn't want the Texans to pick Shadeur only because there's just no room for him.
Yeah,
like, Stroud's the guy. Like the Chiefs aren't picking Shadeur. But a team with a potential QB need, if you passed on a guy like that, like
you're just like shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, like, and I don't really disagree with that. I just think that what I'm saying is what I think teams were thinking, whether it's correct or not, whatever. But the Saints had no excuse to not take him. I think the Rams should have at least given it a really hard look in round 4. But
yeah, I would have liked him more than a 19th running back on our roster. But here we are.
They would have had the transition from Stafford, especially with Shadeur sitting a year under Stafford. That would have been like pretty perfect. And again, a good organization like. I just expect a good organization to really like mold a guy like that, because I do think the attitude thing in the NFL, it really does rub people the wrong way, especially when it's at the quarterback spot versus another spot. But the NFL, compared to most sports, it's like winning matters so much. Like get your QB and figure it out. Like
it's just befuddling to me that he was like, I don't know what number QB he was, but he was at least number 5 taken, probably. Like I know 6. He was at least number 6 taken because it was Milroe, Shuck, Dart, Ward, Gabriel, and then Shadeur. And it's just like
Gabriel shouldn't have gone.
It's like
I never thought Gabriel was a better quarterback than
Shadeur.
It's just more of the Gabriel's role is just different. Teams pick Gabriel to be a backup. You don't pick Shadeur to be a backup. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say, and that's
I think that justification of it is fair because, going back to it, like he had a first round talent grade at the very minimum, like at the very lowest, you could argue that like he should have been a second round pick, and like okay, like sure, like I'll take it, like but nonetheless he shouldn't have slipped past pick 60, 64, and it's just like I don't know what teams are thinking, obviously, right? We're not Les Snead and Howie Roseman sitting in these draft rooms, and it's just crazy to me that teams passed on that good of a talent for the sole fact that like ever since he's gotten drafted, I don't think there's been like one story of like, oh, blah blah blah. Like all I hear from like the Shadeur side of things is like, I'm just happy to be here with the Browns. Like I'm excited to like get things going. Like it's not like he's like saying ridiculous shit like, oh yeah, like the job's mine, like Like it's not like he's like making a fucking clown of himself.
Yeah,
Like he,
I thought the thing that surprised me last night was they said the interview last night post game was like, "Hey, like, what would you give your grade?" And he was like, C plus, and I was like, "That's like it was almost like too humble." It's like, bro, give yourself like a if you don't want to say A, I'm fine with that,
yeah,
but plus throwing two tutties and like 140 yards in your first game, that's an A.
yeah.
I looked at it as an A plus, but.
Like, I think the one thing that's going for him that people may view as like a disservice to him is the fact that he has Dion as his dad, and like he can ask him questions and be like, like if he ever has like a question just about like how to handle stuff, like I think he's like a mature dude. Like it's not like he's like racing cars on the freeway, like a specific Chiefs wide receiver, or like
He did get the speeding tickets,
but like
that
it's
was
not
just
like he's getting it. He's not picking up a DUI. He's not causing like
yeah, no,
crazy. Like he's not like doing like that type of like. I get the speeding. Like okay, like let's clean it up. But he was going like 60 and like a 30 or something.
yeah,
It wasn't
no, yeah,
like he was going.
or anything,
He wasn't going triple digits and like chugging a case of Modelo's. Like you know, mistakes happen. Like I can give him that. And it's just
yeah,
like you can see from like the way he answers questions that he's like relatively mature and like he like has gone through a lot of quarterbacking and like he's used to being quote unquote the leader of the team by being the quarter. Like he ate all the shit last year, right, when Colorado just like was it, no, the year before when Colorado just like shit the bed after like week 5, right?
yeah,
And they're just dogging on Shedeur like, oh, it's not Travis Hunter's fault. It's not the fact that they have a revolving door for an O line, and or the fact that their defense you can't name a single player on it besides Travis Hunter or Shiloh.
yeah,
Like it's like everything gets blamed onto him, and I think that he does like a good job of like handling it. And like people may not like the extracurriculars, and that's up to them. But it's like at the same time you're missing out on. I mean, he's no generational talent. Like this isn't the next Patrick Mahomes, but like he could very well be a top 10 quarterback. Like in probably the back end of that. It's 7 through 10. Like he could be a very good like. I think he could be a better version of Jared Goff, where he's like a game manager. He can make good throws. Like he doesn't have to be like doing everything like a Lamar or a Josh Allen. Like he can just sling the ball, hand off the rock, like be a game manager, like a Jalen Hurts or like a Brock Purdy. Like he doesn't have to exert himself.
that's where his talent is too, for sure. That's his game. That's
Yeah,
his.
and to be fair, the Browns have such a dog shit roster around him that I don't know if it's going to be possible for him to do that at like the first couple years of him playing, because they just don't have like it's Jerry Jeudy, Myles Garrett, and like see you later, Denzel Ward,
Yeah.
and like 2 of those guys aren't even on the same side of the ball. But I would have loved to have him on the Rams, I guess is where I'm wrapping this up to. Like I don't know why the Rams didn't think to take him, like you're saying, in the 4th or even trade up. Like especially with the uncertainty of Archie Manning and then the Stafford thing, it's just like I don't know. The teams that passed on him, I think he's gonna take it. I mean, everyone passed on him, so I think he's gonna take it personally and like use the chip on his shoulder. Use the chip on his the chip on his shoulder to be like a successful player. I think he's gonna end up being a starter, and like he might not hit his max potential, but I think he'll have like a solid run in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean his skill set is like he proved a lot to me yesterday, and it is preseason, and I'm actually using this in Shadeur's benefit when I could use it against his if I really wanted to make the argument. But again, to have the amount of adversity kind of against you roster wise and like that proved a lot to me, because my pre-draft critique on Shedeur was like, look, he's never like he has had the bad O line, but like okay, they didn't run the ball anyway. Okay, and he's off script in the shotgun anyway. More of a backyard style offense, which doesn't really work in the NFL for the most part. But like most of the throws he made yesterday were in the pocket. A couple times he probably dropped back a little too deep, but like he made throws to guys he probably hasn't thrown to a ton, and sat in the pocket, took a couple hits. Like that's all I wanted to see really to proved to me that like, okay, he can play. He can play. And I don't want to jump the gun too early and be like, hey, this guy could be top 10. I think we gotta, A, he's on the Browns. That makes it tough. B, like it's very early on. Don't want to put that pressure. But he looked good, man. He kind of proved his weakness to me. So,
and people were getting on him about patting the ball like before he throws it. It's like a ton of other quarterbacks do that. It's just like the selective outrage to just get mad at HHuddle doing it.
So many quarterbacks have. I mean, you bring it to baseball too. So many of these guys have like weird twitches and like.
Yeah.
Hitting a baseball, everyone has a little routine and twitch. Like that's all. Let's hit on one more thing and then we can wrap up. We want to talk about the Rams a little bit. We did want to talk about the Chargers, but I don't know if we'll have time. We'll see. The Rams storyline right now is with Stafford and kind of the back injury. Obviously, you're very dialed in with the Rams, as we see on the wall. Do you think, are you worried about this at all? Like 1 to 10, is it like, are you a 0? Or are you like
0?
0? Interesting.
And I'll keep it short and simple. It's not going to be short, but I'll keep it simple for the people that aren't Rams fans. McVay like bullshits about injuries like all the time, and chances are this injury is more severe than it's made out to seem. I'm not worried about it in the slightest because they have their first round of next year and they have the Falcons next year. So the silver lining is, okay, he doesn't play. I have to endure a season of Jimmy G, whatever. Like, they're not winning more than 6 games with Jimmy G, I don't think. Like, 6, 7, 8 is like the ceiling. Like, and that'll probably get you a top 15 pick. So like that coupled with, like, if Stafford is out for the year or suffers a season-ending injury at some point in the season, he's not going to play again. Like this, I think this is like the last ride for him. So it's like, okay, then like as a fan, I can commit to the fact that like they're going to get a new QB, like they're going to have some sort of turnover, like just in general, like for the future, like they're going to have to gear up towards that. And I'm fine with it because I think that they're going to go and get a rock star quarterback prospect, or they're going to make a move for somebody who's in a position that they want to get out of that position, like a Justin Herbert-esque kind of player.
So I want to rephrase a little bit because I don't think, I mean, we can talk about the future as well, but I'm more worried about this year because I think the Rams are a big contender in the NFC, and I mean, obviously Philly has the best roster. I get it. The Rams were close last year, and it's really hard to repeat in the NFL. We rarely see it. So, I mean, do you think, like, for this year, are you nervous in terms of, like, contention?
I mean, if they lose Stafford, that's the end of the season. Like, they're not going to win games without him. Like, just Jimmy G's not going to cut it for them. And like, I get that Jimmy G's like, he's a solid backup. I mean, he torched the Seahawks defense last year, week 18, and they almost beat them with second and third stringers. And like, I know that the team has potential to be like a contender for like something legitimate, but like, obviously I'd be very disappointed if Stafford was out for any portion of the year. Cause like, obviously I'm a big Stafford fan, and like, he's a extremely underrated quarterback in the grand scheme of NFL history. Like, I don't know another quarterback who's as disrespected as he is, at least in like just statistical rankings. Like, he's top 10 in passing yards. Like, he's extremely good when it comes to like certain statistics. I'd be disappointed for this year, obviously, because I think that they're close, but like all the guys that they have that are like big parts of the team will still be there the year after. And like, my idea is that like, if they like really shut the bed this year and they get like a top 10 pick somehow, if you couple that, like, and let's say the Falcons somehow win the NFC South, like worst case scenario for the Rams, the Falcons win their division and they're like 10-7 and they finish with like the 22nd pick, 23, like a top 10 pick plus 23 plus another first rounder maybe, or like a second rounder somewhere else, like that's going to get you the number 1 or number 2 overall pick, and you're going to get. I mean, the rumor about Archie's that he's staying another year, right? So like, let's just wipe that off the board. So like, you have Klubnik, you have Lenore Sellers, and you have the kid from
is it
Notre Dame?
Riley Leonard.
Or who's the kid that plays for LSU?
Oh, Nussmeier.
Nussmeier. Those are like the 3 top guys, right? Klubnik, Sellers, and Nussmeier. Like, shit. Give me Lenore. Like, Sean McVay with like a mobile quarterback who can actually throw. And this is low-key kind of a crazy statement, but if I have to sacrifice a year of Rams football to ensure that they get a quarterback of the future that's going to be a guy, like a guy for 10, like, you saw it, like, and you endured some rough years as a Texans fan, but like, you get to watch CJ Stroud play, and like, you know that like the quarterback security is there, knock on wood, for like the next 10 years. Like, he's going to be the presumed guy for them, right?
Yeah.
And like the same thing with like the Commanders, like they have Jaden Daniels, he's going to be the guy. Caleb Williams and the Bears, you know, he's a little rough, but like he's probably going to be the guy. Like Patriots, Drake May is going to be the guy. I will sell off 1 season of Rams football if it means that they get a Lenore Sellers or an Archie Manning, or like even if they traded for like a Justin Herbert, like somebody that I can look forward to beyond 1 season. Because like the era of Stafford has only been, like, this is his 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So this will be the 5th season of Stafford, and he was banged up basically for 1 of those years. So like 4-ish years of him. Like, it's not like I'm too attached to him in the sense that like I've grown up watching him, or like I've seen him play for a long time. Like how a Chiefs fan would be like if like with Mahomes, or like the Bills with Allen, you know, Ravens, blah blah blah. But yeah, I guess in short, I'm not too worried. But I mean, if he does miss games, I don't think that they'll be very successful, and I think the NFC West is going to be closer than people think, only because everybody's playing really bad teams this year. Like, the schedule for the NFC West is just easier in general, and the Rams do have a first place schedule. So they get Baltimore, they get Philly, they get I forget what the other division is there. I think the Texans are the first place team from the AFC South that they have to play. Or no, I mean, they play the whole AFC South, so never mind. I'm not too worried. I'm trying to look at it through a positive lens, because I think that they'll get somebody. If McVay stays around and Snead's there, they're gonna get somebody. So
yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm definitely worried about this year, because I also, I mean, there's just going to be storylines in the offseason, and I mean, Stafford's played through injuries forever. I do think it's kind of notable, a little bit more maybe, because he's had back injuries in the past, and that's exactly, you know, what this is. So that's just a little bit of a red flag, but I'm overall pretty optimistic that he's going to be fine and going to be playing. I really hope so, because I like the Rams a lot this year, especially after seeing kind of what San Fran's done and some of their moves. Like, it's just pretty clear, like, they're reaching a little bit. Like, I want to take the Rams to win the division, so I'm hoping he plays, because that division's very open in my opinion. If he's banged up for the first half of the year or whatever it might be.
yeah.
I wonder, I just want to look really quick. I want to see if the odds think he's not playing. I bet they think he's going to play, but let's just take a look real quick.
If I had to bet on a quarterback making it through a back, I think it's like a disc injury or whatever, I'd put the bank on Matthew Stafford to play.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, Rams are still right there. So, yeah, I mean, they think he's going to play, which is kind of what I think.
It's the NFL offseason, and people have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about it.
Point on the draft picks and everything is definitely makes sense. I mean, you're kind of in a weird, like, it's not exactly a win-win, because you'd be sacrificing, you know, your season essentially. But shoot, I mean, if he doesn't play and retires, like, you're gonna be 6-11 or whatever, and have a good pick. Then you use the Atlanta pick, and you're probably in a pretty good spot to get whatever quarterback McVay wants. So
I mean, they could also draft. I mean, I don't know who's coming out next year, like all the player specifics, but like they could just draft two like positional players and then trade future firsts to get somebody. Like I don't know who would be available to get after this season. Like if a season goes sideways, like you kind of look at the Bengals, like okay, like Joe Burrow might, get kind of start getting frustrated with them, or like I mean, the pipe dream was I've wanted Lamar for a while now, and like I don't know, maybe the Ravens have like a disastrous year. I don't see it happening with them, but like there are the one that's specific, and this I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but the Chargers and Herbert, like their season's done. Sorry, Chargers, the one Chargers fans that's watching this.
I'm only hesitant because I think they can move Alt to left tackle and then kind of be makeshift. I mean, coming from the Texans fan, where I've seen it all with O-lines, we've won playoffs games both the last 2 years, and we've played the Browns D-line and the Chargers D-line. So, not that O-line doesn't matter, because it definitely does, but like, if you have a guy with a little mobility, you can definitely make it work with a good quarterback. So that's why I'm a little slow to say, like, it does matter. The loss is big, but like, do I think the Chargers can still be very competitive in the AFC West? Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as it doesn't harm their ability to run the ball a ton, if they go from like an A, running game to like a B running game, and then Herbert kind of has to improvise a little more, like, I think it evens out and they're okay. But
I think that the interior itself is already too bad, like poor, and so like losing an exterior guy, it's basically Joe Alt and like four bums now. Like I think Herbert's gonna get just destroyed this year. I don't think that I've never been a fan of Hampton, and I still stand on that. I don't think Hampton's going to be a 2-contract NFL player. Like I just don't think he's very good. And they don't have any weapons, and it's like not only does it affect the running game, but it also affects the passing game. Like Herbert's going to have less time to pass, and like the only addition that they made to the receiving core between last year and this year is Keenan Allen, Trey Harris, and the rookie that they have, the Andre Lambert Smith guy that people like, or Andre Keyberts. I don't know what his name is, but it's just like you're banking on that, and like who's their starting tight end? Will Disley.
Yeah.
Like
they just don't have a lot of weapons. I mean, that's just the way Harbaugh wants to build, I guess. But
and the defense is the exact same as last year, minus Joey. I mean, Joey Bosa didn't even really play, but like it's not like they got any better at any one position. Like I don't understand their philosophy. The Greg Roman offenses Chargers fans are gonna learn that Greg Roman is a terrible offensive coordinator, and I think that a lot of their like makeup and their build is trying to like recreate the Michigan team, where it's like just have like a beastly defense and then have like a game manager quarterback with like barely any weapons and a strong running game. It's like that could work. Like the Eagles kind of did it last year, where they ran the shit out of the ball, but like Saquon Barkley and Omarion Hampton is coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. Like that's just not even on the same
it's
planet.
Not very comparable whatsoever.
And like the O lines are completely different, and the defenses are completely different. It's just like I think the Chargers season is done, and like that's a team I look to like. I don't think they're gonna blow it up because Harbaugh's there and they're always trying to compete, but like I would take a hard look at the chart. Like if the Chargers after this year, like they fizzle out and they're like a top 10 drafting team, I would consider trading Herbert and resetting the clock, because I just don't think that they have like a specific direction that they're going in. Like they're kind of like middle of the pack. Like they could be like a surprise team, but highly unlikely. It's more likely that they are like a disappointment than like a good surprise, in my opinion.
Their
And so it's like
roster is almost Packer-like. That's kind of where I'd put it. It's a lot of like decent guys, but there's not a lot of like
stars.
legitimate juice to the roster.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
when you
could
have
get
a
behind.
roster like that, it's really hard when you have like, I mean, the AFC West is going to be wild this year because you've
Yeah.
got now, and we'll do another video of predictions and bets and whatever, but um, like I believe in the Chiefs. I always will. They may or may not be my Super Bowl pick, but I will say they're in the top three, right? So, um, I mean, I will always be with the Chiefs, but you have like the Broncos who look really good. They've made a lot of really good moves. The Raiders, I would not count them out either. And then you have a pretty good Charger team, but they're hurt by the O-line situation with two other teams that got, well, three teams that have pretty solid, at least, like middle of the pack or better D-lines, I would probably say. Like
Yeah.
Broncos solid, Chiefs solid, and then Raiders, maybe not amazing, but like they're Max Crosby, they're formidable, right? So it definitely makes the Charger season interesting. Uh, I do wonder what they would do if like it just went really bad this year. Like
I think the smartest thing would just be sell off what you can and then have a shitty year, take a gamble on a quarterback and reset, but I doubt that they do it. I honestly don't think that there's going to be like the Rams were kind of the innovators of like, the F them picks thing where they just send the picks away. Like I low key think the teams are kind of like crawling back on that. Like it doesn't seem to be like the meta of the league anymore. Like a lot of teams were doing trades like that, like big big draft capital for like a big star player, and like the Micah Parsons thing is a whole other can of worms that we never really got into.
too valuable. They're just because of the money piece. Like you have a guy on a rookie deal for 4 or 5 years, like it's so valuable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you got to hit on the player, but you
yeah,
hit
that
on
too.
the quarterback or whoever. Like, I mean, Stroud's making like nothing right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I mean, I feel pretty good about that, man. Yeah, I mean, we hit on Chargers and Rams. Yeah, I mean, I think to wrap it up with Rams, I mean, if there's a guy, I'm trying to think if there's people they could go after besides Herbert. Like, Tua could be available. I don't.
Fuck no.
I'm just thinking of names that could be available.
I honestly think the most realistic one is the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Like I don't think I don't think McVay would go after a quarterback that's like not somebody who has like top 5 talent. Like when they traded for Stafford, like you could argue that he had like top 5 talent, and like obviously it's taken a step back because he's old.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
Yes.
like I don't think he'd make a move for somebody that he didn't see like great potential in, that already wasn't a proven commodity. And so like I don't think he's gonna go after I mean, let's say the Packers have a really bad year and like, they make Jordan Love available or whatever, hypothetically. I don't think he would go after somebody of that caliber because like I don't think he's proven the consistency that Stafford has had, like that kind of situation. Like if you kind of get my drift, like I think that he's looking for somebody who's like proven to be a winner, like they've proven to be successful in their situation, and then like things got bad. It's kind of basically like the Stafford storyline, but like someone who's capable of carrying a team, and like Burrow is. I mean, Burrow was single-handedly keeping them in games with Jamar Chase last year, so.
The one division I kind of was thinking about was the NFC South. Baker and Bryce Young, who Baker. Now, I definitely am not saying that the Buccaneers are trading Baker. I mean, they've been a sneaky, like, really good franchise ever since Brady. Like, they just have made the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. I saw that stat the other day. Like,
they're also shitty division merchants.
for sure. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's tough to do that every year in the NFL.
Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah.
so Baker, like maybe if it went south and they were kind of like, okay, let's pivot, let's draft a quarterback. I wonder if he'd be available. And then Bryce Young, who I think is going to have a really good year three. But maybe if it doesn't, would they pivot off of him for like,
The It's funny you say that and you bring up a young quarterback because I think, just walk with me here, only because he's from the area, but like I know I've talked about it a ton and I still believe in him a ton and he's only played 1 year, but like imagine the Bears just shit the bed this year.
I
Just hear
know.
me out. Just hear me out. Because Ben, like it's Ben Johnson there, and like let's say they shit the bed and Poles gets fired, and like Ben Johnson's the head coach for like the next few years, and like they're just like screw it because they have some pieces like Jalen Johnson, like they have some guys that are like assets, if you will, like a Montez Sweat, even though he seems to be like a little bit more like. What I'm trying to say is that if Ben Johnson doesn't like what he sees from Caleb Williams, I don't think that he would hesitate to be like, this isn't the guy that I want to run the offense. Like, we need
Yeah.
to go after somebody else. And like, I, I don't know Sean McVay personally, but like, I'm sure Sean McVay would be extremely elated to hear that Caleb Williams is available because I think that he can turn him into a top five quarterback. And like,
I think here's what I just want to push back really quick because I think you're thinking in the right way. I just wonder if, like, let's say that scenario exactly happens and like they really fall apart. You think Sean McVay is going to want Caleb, who couldn't be coached under like Ben Johnson?
I just don't think that. I mean,
Sean McVay is
not the coaching thing, but like it's more of a sense of like if their offensive line falls apart and he's not like producing the way Ben Johnson wants to. Like I get Ben Johnson's like a talented offensive coordinator, and I still view him as an offensive coordinator more so than a coach. Like I don't know if he's gonna work out, but like Sean McVay's outside of Andy Reid, Sean McVay is the best play caller slash offensive mind in the game and has been for like basically a decade. And it's like I get like the irony of like saying like, oh, like, you know, if you can't get it out of like Ben Johnson can't get it out of Caleb, like
yeah.
who else could possibly? But like McVay is like a different level to Ben Johnson. Like I get the whole like cute gimmicky shit, like, oh, I'm gonna pretend to fall and then throw a touchdown. Like
A little annoying, honestly.
like it's just like gimmicky shit. And like to be fair, the Lions last year had arguably the best offense in the league. I know the defense fell apart because they were all injured.
Best in the league. I don't
Like,
use that. Yeah.
Top two offensive line behind the Eagles. They have really solid receiving weapons, the best backfield in the league, a competent quarterback. I mean, they have a solid quarterback like that can operate an offense of Ben Johnson's, and then they have like a top five tight end. Like they had an extremely good skill group, and it's like, yeah, they're gonna walk through a lot of teams, and like I'm curious to see if the Bears are gonna be like what they're gonna be this year because I think they could be great, I think they could be bad, and I think they could be mid. Like I really don't know how to gauge them, but like
Yeah.
I do think, well, because of the ties, and I do think that McVay is going to look for somebody who can move in the pocket, not necessarily like Lamar where they can just outrun defense, but like somebody who can extend plays, like a Russell Wilson more so, you know, where he's just doing crazy. I mean, he's like a magician, but like Wilson's extending plays and whatnot, like in his prime. Like I think that could be like a Caleb Williams kind of thing where McVay could get that out of him. And yeah,
I
don't
just
think it's-
don't know if McVay would like he would like a CJ Stroud. He would not like I don't know if McVay would love Mahomes. Now Mahomes has toned down kind of the off script stuff the last couple of years. I think we're gonna get a lot of that back this year, but I mean McVay, it's like the Shanahan thing, and it's like it's more of like, okay, it's the Kirk Cousins deal, right? It's like okay, you're gonna go through your progression here to the one, then you're going to the two, and then you're throwing it to the three. Like it's Caleb has not, and I'm a Caleb guy. I mean his arm talent's unreal, but his style it's very more like Andy Reid. Yeah, we're gonna run around and you
Yeah,
know
it's
see like
very early Mahomes-ish.
yeah. I think Andy Reid would love Caleb Williams. He'd be like, yeah, let's go to let's go crazy, throw on the run, bootleg, what. But that's not what McVay wants. I don't think. Again, I don't know McVay either, but it's
I,
just what it seems like to me. They
I
had
think,
Goff and they had Stafford. Like,
yeah. Well, I think that I mean Goff was like fucking bum, but like I think Stafford's arm talent makes up for like him like the lack of wheels. But like, I mean, they do run stuff where Stafford has to like move, and they low key run a lot of play action, and obviously having a mobile quarterback can help because it adds like another threat to the defense. And like they do run like I mean I don't think they run a ton of bootlegs. It's a lot of like motion stuff. Um, but like he has the arm like he doesn't have Stafford level arm talent, but like he has top seven arm talent in the league already just based off of what he's able to do. Like I mean we saw in college and like he made some pretty crazy throws last year um, that were kind of off script or like stuff where it's just like oh like now I remember why you were drafted first overall, like something like that.
yeah,
And like I agree to your point that like he wouldn't like McVay wouldn't want like a Mahomes or like I don't think he'd want like Jaden Daniels, but like I do think that he would like one of these guys that's like a little bit more like just mobile. Like I think Stroud would be like a perfect fit in the sense that
for
he
sure.
can move and like Stroud's a good runner. Like that run that he had against the Chargers, like that he
Yeah.
busted out, it's just like, oh, like I forgot you could do this
Yeah.
type of a thing. Like I think that's somebody that they could, not Stroud specifically, but like somebody of that caliber who's like a pass first quarterback and then has the ability to like extend a play or like pick up a first down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like Ben Johnson is adjusting everything he did last year with, Goff to Caleb, and I think
Yeah.
McVay is the same. But I think if you like Ben Johnson walked into that versus McVay and the Rams, it's like, okay, who do we want to try and get? Then I think it's a little different to be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna get a pocket guy versus go out and get like a. I think he wants mobility, but like Lamar can throw better from the pocket than Caleb can. Not even close.
You said Lamar can throw better than Caleb.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
like the Lamar example, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like I think Lamar is so unique because he really can do both. Like he's not like Dan Marino from the pocket or something, but
Yeah.
like I mean he can
He's
do
no
it really
slouch.
well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude,
What?
the Jags just hit a 70-yard field goal.
Hold on.
That's the
Yeah,
longest in history.
Wait, what?
In a preseason game,
Yeah.
bro. Who is this guy?
Someone commented Otani.
Is this the new Janikowski?
That's crazy. 70-yard field goal live. He's 3 for 3. Wow.
Oh, Little?
Yeah.
Wow. They said that was good from 80.
Yeah. What the heck? That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone's freaking out. That's something. Holy
That's
cow.
yeah, sorry to like just like go crazy. I was just like not a headline you expect to
Real
see.
maybe for that, or did you see it on like Twitter or something?
I got a Bleacher Report notification.
Yeah, there it is. That's crazy. Well, we ran long, so typical. Always enjoy it. I think we'll definitely plan on getting our next episode out here in probably 2 weeks ish. I mean, we're just in a slow time, so there's no need to, rapid fire them or anything. But yeah, 2 weeks ish. That'll put us at like the 20th, and we can do some, a big like NFL predictions, make it official. We kind of went over all the divisions and the storylines, but we can make our picks and who we like, who we don't like, that sort of thing. So should be good. You got anything else to hit on at all?
I don't know.
the 70-yard field goal kind of.
Yeah. I will say what. Okay, just real quick, hypothetically,
Yeah.
if Micah Parsons gets traded, I know that the odds say that he's probably going to stay, but
Yeah.
just if he were to get traded, where do you think is most likely? I'm curious because I thought about it, and it's like I don't know what team would be like in a position to get him.
Well, I don't have all assets on deck, but I would imagine the Bears are in high. They're thinking about it. I would imagine. So let me just run through the NFC a little bit. Like the Eagles, it would not shock me, as crazy as that sounds. It just
Yeah, I don't think Jerry would trade in division.
That's the complicated part. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I don't think it's very likely in conference. I think it's more likely than in division for sure. But,
Mhm.
I mean, Rams makes sense to me. It really does. Bears, I think.
I thought I saw people saying the Seahawks, and I was like, I don't know.
I thought about that too. I don't know. I think you have to have some room, even though they would defer the money anyway. We talked about that earlier. But I think you have to have like, even though you got to pay him and whatever, like you got to be in more win now mode, taking advantage of his prime. So I
Yeah.
think we're up there. Bears are up there for sure. Denver, I think, would for sure make a call. I mean, I know they were depleted with some picks for the Russ trade. I don't have it all on deck, but like, I would for sure make that call if it got real. Again, you're out of conference. You're not paying a ton of guys, like, so you might not need to defer a ton of money. They definitely have some picks. I would make that call. Bills would be interesting because I think they need a little bit of star power on that defense.
Ooh, that actually, I think that's my new number one take because I feel like they're starved to like get somebody on
They're win
defense.
now mode. Like they are not worried about. We were talking about the FM picks mentality. Like the Bills' first rounders right now are pretty like. I mean, they're all at the very bottom of the draft, right? I don't think the Chiefs would because, and I know they're kind of in the same boat, but they're paying Chris Jones. They're a team that I think feels good about their defense year in, year out. And it's kind of like the Rams build where they just figure it out with the guys they have and they're top 5 every year. It's like, how do they do it? But
Yeah.
I don't think the Chiefs would do it. Let me see. AFC North, no. I mean, the Bengals would never do it, but they should. My goodness. And then, the Texans aren't. So,
Yeah. It's just weird. Like, between him and Terry, do you think there's one that's more likely?
I would say Mike is more likely to get traded than Terry. I think they're going to sign Terry. I think they're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's your new quarterback's number one target. I mean, the tough part about both is like Terry's older, but I mean the dude has been a grinder for your franchise. Like they're gonna pay him. They're gonna figure it out.
That would rub a lot of Commanders fans the wrong way. I think if they traded Terry, that
would rub JD5 the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if they traded for Tunsil and traded for Debo and let Terry go, that would be wild to me.
One step forward, 9 steps backwards.
Yeah, like, dude, that would be painful. If I was a Commanders fan and that happened, I'd give up.
Especially
like you're in
the
championship last year, and your wide receiver one is like, "Hey, I've been with y'all since the trench days, since like coach after coach, new ownership, like pay me." I don't think it's the craziest ask in the world.
Yeah.
I think Micah's more likely to get traded because even with the deferred money thing we talked about, like they're paying two guys an insane amount of money, and you're just really setting yourself up for failure in a way. And I mean, I told you my take on Micah a little bit. Like, he's obviously one of the top edge guys in the league. He's had his moments in the playoffs of disappearing. Not all his fault, to be fair. The Cowboys, that's kind of their mojo. So
Yeah.
not all on him, but like he's not
True Cowboy.
he's not a J.J. Watt bias in there, I guess. But J.J. Watt was a really good run defender as well. Like Myles Garrett, same deal. Like Micah's like a splash sack guy. He's like, and even more than T.J. Watt is. Even like T.J. Watt's solid against the run as well, but Micah, like, I don't have the stats up here right now, but I don't look at him as a premier run defender, and so I just think you're kind of sitting there like, okay, our defense isn't good. We're paying these two guys. We can get 2 firsts for this guy. Like, I mean, I would think about it if I was the Cowboys, but. Especially because the Eagles are so, I mean, they look to be head and shoulders above anyone in that division for at least a couple of years here. Like, obviously the Commanders were fun last year. I think they're going to be good again, but like, the Eagles, bearing injury, are better than the Commanders. I don't think anyone's going to argue against that. So,
Yeah.
And listen, the Giants, I don't think, I know on paper their offense isn't good. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team this year or anything, but the defense looks really good. The front seven is unreal, and like, they're going to be competitive if they get offense right. So the Cowboys are looking ahead at like, we could be the number 4 team in the division in 2-3 years.
Shit, they could be the number 4 team this year, low key. I'm not even like trying to be funny.
With Dak and everything, I think they'll be fine. But
I don't think it's likely, but it could happen.
It's on board.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants are going to be competitive this year. Like, I think with a defense like that, if you just limit how much a team can score, which, yes, this is simple. This is a football, like, but not a lot of teams have really good defenses, and the ones that do are, in games all the time. So yeah. I think they're going to be. It's a better problem than the Bengals, in my opinion.
It reminds me of the Rams teams back in 2014 before they moved to LA, when it was like, when they just got Aaron Donald, it was like Chris Long, Michael Brockers, Robert Quinn, and then like fill in the gaps everywhere else. Like they have a good defensive line and an overall solid defense, and then it's just kind of like, it kept them in games.
Yeah, you can upset. I mean, shoot, the Texans played that way forever. Like, bro, you have a top 10, top 5 defense. You can have terrible offense, terrible quarterback play, and be like a 7-8 win team.
Yeah.
So all that to say, I don't think Mike is gone. I would give it 2%. Truly, I would give Terry like 0. I don't think he's leaving, and I would give Micah like barely anything. But like, I would think about it for sure.
I'll give Micah 30%, only because I don't think, like, some of the stuff that he's saying on social media is like not bridge burning, but it's kind of like, like he's low-key saying like some stuff that, like, if I was trying to negotiate a contract, I don't think that that's what I would say. I mean,
yeah,
if I was him. And so I get that it's all like a ploy, right? It's like all business and whatever, but like, usually in these situations, the player doesn't go as hard in the paint. Like, you don't see Terry saying like the relationship's severed, like we haven't talked, like they've been dangling the carrot in front of me for years now, and like blah blah blah. Like, he's more just like, XYZ, like very straightforward. Versus Micah, it's like, oh, like, you low-key seem pretty upset about it, dude. Like, you seem pretty upset.
I think I forget what the exact words were, but the last 3 guys that have been like, I appreciated my time here, like Myles Garrett did it, and then he got the deal. I think T.J. Watt did the same thing. So it's kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I see your point.
I don't know what the words were, but I saw it on Twitter or something. It was like the last four guys to say this all stayed with the same team. It's like,
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I definitely thought Myles Garrett was getting moved because, like, why would you sign the extension with the Browns? But
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, once the money is in front of you and it's generational, it's like, all right, well, that's the thing.
Hands are tied.
Is like, gosh, I get, rings matter a lot, legacy matters. Yeah, well, $50 million does too. Shit. But $50 million for, 4 or 5 years plus endorsements plus signing bonuses. Yeah, I'll take the generational wealth. Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see if we win games. But it'll be interesting, though. I mean, I wouldn't be insanely shocked, I guess, to see Micah go. The way the Cowboys are and the way they're ran, it's such a
shit show.
Yeah, they're signing him. It's just Jerry trying to make headlines. It's fine. They'll never win shit. So. Well, that was solid, man. I like that. Good episode, good ending. I like the Micah talk as well. Yeah, we'll hit up a predictions episode for the NFL probably in 2 weeks, and then we're finally in football, man. And then basketball is coming up soon too, so we're getting back. But yeah, you got anything else?
I think not the next episode, but the episode after will be an in-person episode probably.
Oh, yeah. That's true. We'll have to figure that out. That'll be sick. Dude, I was thinking about that with Stafford too. Like, I really hope he plays because
Dude, if he doesn't play, dude, I'm about to sell the tickets.
Oh, that would be so unfortunate.
Yeah, that would be quite something.
I think he's gonna play. I mean, let me see. Let me just look at something here, and then we'll end it. I just want to see if the odds on the game have moved because that'll determine if they think he's playing or not. I doubt they have, but. A little bit, but not a lot. It's now 2.5 spread, so they think he's playing.
The Rams are favored, yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a close game, dude.
It'll be a fun game. I'm prepared to walk out with a loss, but it's going to be sick.
Yeah, I'm prepared either way. I think as long as it's close, I'll take that. I would like a win, but...
Stroud playing in LA, though. You never know.
First time, right?
Yeah. It'll be sick.
We got to ball out for the family and drop 400 yards.
Yeah, he hasn't played the Chargers aside from the playoff game, which was at home. So
right, so yeah.
Yeah.
He never played in LA yet. It's the first one.
Yep. Let's go, man. He'll be locked in.
Yeah.
Well, that's episode 18. We'll be back in 2 weeks-ish. Let's go, man.
Woo!
Let's go!